and then the next one, stretching. Man, I've talked about this one a lot. The studies overall would suggest that you're not going to stretch your way out of knee pain. A lot of people theorize that it's actually going to cause knee pain. I don't. I don't think it's going to heal knee pain, most knee pain, and I don't think that it's going to cause knee pain. I think if you like to do it, you should do it. I still stretch. We do dynamic stretching. Most of our range of motion is going to just come from full range of motion strength training, though. I think that's a little more permanent, and the studies would suggest that that's true. But you can get some improved range of motion from static stretching. And so if it feels good and you wake up the next day and it didn't increase your pain, then I think it's a good idea to do. I just don't want people to think that that is the thing, right? If you start thinking stretching is the meat and potatoes and you don't do all the other stuff that's proven to work, like isometrics, like heavy strength training, like load management, avoiding jumping while your knee hurts, gradually introducing activity, gradual ramp ups, not increasing your workload by more than 10% per week, right? These are the things that we know work. So if you start going, well, stretching is the main thing and I don't need to pay attention to these other things, then I think your mind is in the wrong place. And I think you're going to be frustrated with your rehab. However, I do think if it feels good and the next day it doesn't increase pain, then great, go ahead and do it. Also, even though it's not super permanent, like static stretching might give you a window of opportunity. So if I go stretch my quads, I feel like I can get into knee flexion a little bit better. Therefore, when I start my squats, I might actually get a little more range of motion. And then I can strengthen that range of motion and that becomes a little more permanent. Now my nervous system can cement that range. And so it wasn't the stretching that led to the permanent change, but it gave me a window of opportunity. And now a lot of people say you can never stretch before a workout because of all the studies that show it decreases power output. Yes, this is true. It does decrease power output when you hold a stretch for a long time and you don't follow it up with a dynamic warm-up. So that's where the studies have shifted, where they do a group where that static stretches and then they go test their vertical jump and they decrease. But if you do a group that static stretches and then does a real dynamic warm-up with real movement, then it no longer decreases your vertical jump. It doesn't improve it, but it doesn't decrease it. So if it feels good and it gives you a temporary window where you could get more range of motion, then I think it makes more sense. Is it going to help improve your recovery? No, it does not improve recovery. A lot of the claims made around stretching are not true, but that made everybody throw it out. But I think there's still other mechanisms that potentially still make it beneficial. So after saying all that, is it underrated or overrated? I think 2 to 5 years ago, it was highly overrated because people were still pushing it so hard as the main thing. Now in 2024, I think so many trainers have caught on to the studies that it doesn't overall, in the studies, it doesn't decrease the risk of knee pain and doesn't heal knee pain. Now they've gone so far in the other direction that stretching is bad and you never need to stretch. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that now it's underrated. Did you hear that? Paul Fabritz said static stretching is now underrated. Now, I don't think you have to do it. I don't think it's that important. But people are saying that it's the worst thing in the world and that you'll be living your life just happy and you'll just be skipping through a meadow and you do one quad stretch for 15 seconds and you're going to you're just going to fall out and die on sight, right? That's what trainers are saying. You haven't heard? That's exactly what trainers are saying. Therefore, it's underrated because it's not that bad and it's probably not going to harm you and it could be good in a certain scenario.